The character of Daniel is, in this movie, he's very introverted and to himself. He only really opens up and expresses to his girlfriend Lydia, and to his mom and his dad, and to really just those people closest to him. And to the rest of the world, he's very closed off and to himself. And that was a real challenge playing the character, because personally that's almost opposite my personality. I'm very out there and stuff, so I had to do a lot of character thinking and putting myself in the mindset of Daniel when especially this last film week, going on and just living those attributes of his character. Another very interesting thing is they gave him a love interest, Lydia, who is his girlfriend throughout the show, and he actually proposes to her. It's played beautifully in the first act, and it is just wonderful the way he proposes to her. The song "I Will Love You" is just gorgeous, and like I said, Lydia is just one of the only people in Daniel's life who he feels comfortable opening up to, and the dynamic between them is really interesting. And the dynamic between Daniel and his parents, who aren't really talked about in the book of Daniel, so being able to have his parents portrayed in this film has been a great blessing, and to see him interact with his parents about the academy and how he's having these crazy dreams and is just unsure with life, and he's just scared. For a lot of the film, he's just scared and is needing to look to God for that. And especially as he has these things taken from him, he's taken captive into Babylon and is forced to work under the queen. And throughout these years working, with the queen, he rises up in his ranks and is coming to a stronger faith with God as he does it, and he's just listening to God and following his command, even if he's not sure what he's doing, which is expressed in 1100 miles. He's not sure his life, everything's been taken from him, but he's still listening to God and will do what God tells him to do, even if he doesn't fully understand the meaning of what God is telling him to do. The finale, after the very end of the show, pretty much, like I said before, everything was taken from Daniel, and the finale is this beautiful moment where the very last line of the finale, he looks up to God and is just committing everything to God. He has, had all this stuff taken from him, and as he's grown older, he's just learned to realize that, God will do these things, but it's for God's plan, and it's for, because he loves us, and he's doing these things to help us. And Daniel comes to realize that, especially in the finale. And like I said, that last line, he's just looking up to God and just fully gives his life to God, gives him control in the finale and late in that second act. Our amazing director, Alice, she loves me so much, and I got this voice message. She was so thrilled by this experience. I got this voice memo about 5.5 minutes long. It was beautiful. She had to step away from her son's basketball game. She heard wind that I'd lost my script about 2 weeks before filming, and had all my notes in that script. It was very, very intense voice message that I definitely needed to hear. So right after that, I went and printed off a new script, and I knew I was going to lose my script. I knew, because I always do. So I had written all of my blocking in a separate notebook in case this happened, and it did. So here I am, like a week before filming, printing off my new script and just writing in my notes, forehead, arms. They're not very detailed notes, but they work. I feel bad for the rest of the cast. Isabel, at one point, when we had blocked a song, I was taking notes on it, and she was like, awesome. She was like, just send me pictures of your notes, so I don't have to take them. And I was like, yeah, super cool. And she went and looked at my notes later, and it's just like single word, like forehead, arms, walk. She's like, what does any of this mean? And I'm like, no, what, arms, and then walk, forehead, it's great. So that was a joy. A lot of script stuff going on. Alice, Jon, and Justin have put so much work into this show, and I'm just, I hope that I've done them justice with this beautiful story that they have put together and that we have been able to film. Alice, as a director, has been the most encouraging person throughout this whole process. I mean, she just, anytime we would be running a scene or anything, we'd finish the scene, she would just look at me, double thumbs up. She'd be like, "You're doing great." I mean, consistent. And, you know, she was like this with the whole cast. Just, she really is, she was just building everyone's spirit throughout. Even when we had stressful days, some of the days in filming, we had a lot to do and not a lot of time. And she would still, you know, make sure morale's high and energy's up. And she was with me the whole way, all throughout filming, behind the camera, you know, giving me notes, how to improve, you know, as you know, we're filming, as a song's playing and I'm acting out the song, you know, she's behind the camera, move this way now. And it was just such a blessing to work under Alice. And the songs written by Justin and Jon are just beautiful, and they really pull this movie together. The emotions that we are able as actors to portray while we're singing is just amazing, thanks to the lyrics and just the beautiful soundtrack that was brought together by Jon and Justin. And Jon, Justin, and Alice, all three of them wrote the script together, and it is amazing. Although I will say, Jon's words, I'm not sure what Latin Jon speaks, but he is not using English in some of the lines that he has given me. Some of these words I just had no clue how to pronounce. They're French, I'm pretty sure. I think French is what I landed on, is what language they are. But the lines that are French, what was supercilious? Never heard of it before. I had to look all these up. My Google search history is just a bunch of weird, unknown words that I had to look up how to pronounce. What was the one? Hubris? Hubris, it's not spelled like that. That's you would not think that's how you pronounce that word. Maybe I'm just an idiot, but Jon is crazy, and he thinks they talk like this, but they don't. No one uses this kind of language since, you know, 1402. Just no one has talked like this ever. And we're sitting there having breakfast, and I'm using all these big words and talking like this, and I'm like, Jon, I'm supposed to be, you know, 17.
It literally is spelled.
No, it's not. It's spelled like, I have dyslexia, Jon. I thought it said herb.
Wait, you're just
and asthmatic. One second, can I talk about this real quick? Roll the cameras.
They're rolling.
They're rolling? Oh, fun fact, guys. I'm colorblind, dyslexic, and asthmatic, and Jon feels the need to bully me for this because I can't pronounce hubris. I'm sorry, Jon, that I can't. I actually thought this shirt was white. I was texting Isabel this morning, and she was like, "We should coordinate for the interviews." And she was like, "I'll be wearing a white shirt." I was like, "Perfect. I'll wear a white shirt and jeans." And before this, I was teaching some of my piano students, and one of the kids goes, "I love your pink shirt," and I was like, "What?" What? So I texted the jump. They were like, "What are you guys wearing?" I was like, "I guess I'm wearing a pink shirt." So, but me and JD ended up matching, so it worked out in the end.